All right, welcome back. This is now episode 2 of Product Gratis. I'm Jack, and I'm here along with Sam.
Hello, everyone.
If you watched episode 1, pretty much gave a recap what Project Gratis is. You can go check that up. But pretty much a synopsis is two friends. Sam's been one of my good friends for a long time now, and he comes from a tech background. I come from kind of tech, but not really, and more of like a business and sports area. And I just think of random things. And pretty much he had the idea of an app that he was working on. He kind of bounced ideas off of me, and then he was like, "Do you want to just do this together?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I gave him an idea of a sports prediction thing that I wanted to do for a while, but I don't really know. I know how to code in data and SQL, kind of Python stuff like that. But I didn't know how to build an app or anything. And that's
Yeah,
kind of what the whole aspect of this is pretty much showing people that one, anybody can build an app. Like it's half of this we're vibe coding. One of them I originally vibe coded with the actual app called Vibe Code. Didn't really work out, but we did that. But anyone can do this, and pretty much we're just documenting the whole journey from zero to our goal of selling one of the apps for $50 million.
yeah,
I think our plan for these is to do on Instagram and TikTok. We'll post like try to do like daily recaps what we've been doing daily. We post this on Twitter a lot. We're on Twitter, so follow us on social media. Um, and then weekly, we'll do an update of like what we've been doing for the past week, what we want to do for the upcoming week. A lot of these videos would be both of us, but sometimes I wouldn't be shocked if it was one of us, me kind of going through the overall business model, social media strategy, kind of how the app might look. And then if it was just Sam, it'd probably be more of like the tech side, how the code is working, what kind of different softwares he's using, and kind of how the infrastructure is being built out on the back end, and like how people can do this stuff.
yeah.
So that's what today's episode is about. Kind of giving you a recap. I think this is technically what Sam, our 14th day working
14th
together on this.
day. It's been our 14th day building it. It's only been 5 days with live data.
Yeah. So that's what we'll kind of give the recap. Sam's gonna, present some stuff out. We have a working prototype, which I would have thought it would take like a month and a half to do that. Sam did it in like pretty much 24 hours. So like, oh, he didn't know that was even possible. So Sam, you can take it away, present kind of like what's been going on, and kind of talk about it.
Yeah, so on the first episode, I gave you guys a little bit of my background. Long story short, I taught myself coding during COVID. Ended up at Amazon about maybe 9 months later after I picked up my first computer and typed in my first function. From there, for the past 2.5 years, I've been working for the United States Air Force, specifically in their cyber division, building out and deploying what is now being used DOW wide. I keep wanting to say DOD. But from there, basically, I have the skill and knowledge of full stack, along with how to train models and also build models from scratch. So I'll give you guys a little rundown of what we're using right now to build it out, and then I'll go through the MVP we right now have up and running. So right now we're using Flutter. Flutter is a great software to use if you don't want to use Xcode and focus on Swift, which would be what you use if you want to make an iOS app. Flutter basically allows it to be used both web, Android, and iOS. Easy can be, and it mostly uses it implements Dart. Dart was made by Google, and it's also a object-oriented language, so it allows you to build out what you're about to see. So without further ado, let me show you the MVP. So this is the local host that we have it right now running on. Right now, like I said, it's running mostly through Flutter, a little bit of C++, but mostly Flutter and uh, Python. Those are like some of the easiest languages to code in. And I got this up in, I don't know, Jack, how long did it take me to get this going? Like a day or two?
Yeah, I'd say almost less than that. He was like, "Oh, it's ready." I was like, "Damn it, no, that was possible."
Yeah. So right now, when you go to the homepage, Sports Betting AI, and I have a performance summary for users right now with only about 5 days worth of data that we're ingesting and constantly tweaking the AI. We're at a 42% win rate. This past weekend actually was kind of cool because we had a 9% increase in accuracy, which is unheard of in AI. But basically, here are our picks with confidence scores. We can go into that in a later episode when I get into more of the technicality of how we're actually predicting these. Basically, neural networks are kind of like black boxes. You give them functions, and then they kind of learn through data how to make it more and more refined, trying to get to the end goal of what you want. From there, if you go into our picks, these are our highest confidency picks. So if I click into this, it will open up, and it will even show you AI analysis, the edge. So just for a little background, I don't know anything about sports betting. Jack had to teach me a lot of this, which I'm very grateful for because I have no idea how to do it.
Which I actually think helps us, because one of the biggest things is like there's so much bias in sports betting. Like one of the things I want to do is like take the bias out of betting. It's like kind of like twofold. Like my saying with this is like I was a bookie for a couple of years. Like bet like a bookie. Like take the ideas. The whole aspect was like, take the ideas that I had seen on that background, and like I studied gambling at getting my master's and all these different things. And then one, bet like a bookie, see what's going on. And then also two, take the bias out of betting. So I know myself, like I love the Patriots. Every time I see a Patriots score, if you're in my Discord, like same thing with the Red Sox. I love the Red Sox. So like when they win, it's great and I take them. But then if I bet against them, or if they're like they start losing, then I get angry. So I like really the concept was I just wanted to take the bias out of betting so I could just take the picks, understand that the model will work on its own in the long run, and kind of work that way. And with Sam not really understanding how sports betting works, I'm able to kind of teach him how the overall structure works, but then he has no bias towards it. Like he can kind of take his bias out when creating the model itself.
Yeah, I do not care. Unless it's UFC, I do not care. Which I enjoy watching football with you guys. Like when we watch football, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I can get the camaraderie behind it. But when you're building it out, like I remember I found the issue that I texted you today about. I'm like, oh, I did this completely backwards. And you're like, yeah, but also that makes sense for I'll look up what I sent you. But let's just jump back into this for a second. So basically, any user can choose a pick detail and get the full analysis and then look to where that actually is. So right now, that's being held in DraftKings. But today, something that I was actually really happy about that I was able to add in is this settings. It's a unit configuration. I had no idea what a unit was. A unit is a sum of money. Didn't know that, but I tried to build it out as best as I could using Jack's knowledge that he's been able to write in a document for me. So units are essentially how much money people are making betting off their bank account, let's say, or their
it's the average amount that someone places per bet. And in sports betting, you use units so that you can calculate how well you do betting against, and that way you can say how well you do betting, and it doesn't matter how much you're betting. Your buddy could be putting $50 a game, another friend could be putting $20 a game, $10, $100, $1,000, $2,000, and at the same time, as long as you say like, oh, how many units did you do well? It doesn't matter how much money you made or your bet on the game. You can understand how well you did numerically.
Yeah, which I never knew. I thought people were just throwing numbers around like, oh, I bet this, I got that. Had no idea about units. And then today, Jack sent me some documents that explained a few different things like peer-to-peer versus sports betting versus DFS, which is daily fantasy sports, and then legal consideration. I remember that. So sports betting, how it works, how daily fantasy works in comparison, sport peer-to-peer, and then legal considerations, because we got to have that. So if we go back and show you a little bit more, you can actually filter out. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sports books that you can choose from. And even if you wanted to just look at what games were being played tonight, you could go to games. And right now I'm able to filter out. Oh, wow, that actually worked. I wasn't expecting that to work.
We should. It's good that this happened. So you guys are going to see live how we realize we need to edit things. So right now that says the game is final, even though those games are actually live.
Yeah, so that is something that is broken in the back end. It's taking in the information and it's not seeing. So I think that's going to update live actually. So it's going to keep updating until the final is final. That's weird. Okay, I need to redo that. So something that Jack wanted me to show off was legally we cannot show the logos of these teams. It is copyright infringement. So I ran an algorithm on all the logos that we have in our Superbase database, and basically ran an algorithm just to pull which pixels are being used the most. And then that way I can make a gradient off those pixels without ever having to look at or take in the logo except for one time. So as you can see, all the teams have their abbreviations and their gradient colors associated with them. From there, bets, we don't actually intend on taking in people's money. We're trying to help them facilitate better bets on other sites. So you can simulate how much you would make by actually picking a bet. And if you pick a bet, it will go into pending and settled. And then it will also track your stats. So you could use this as like a log tracker, but you would be betting on another site. From there, I built out the stats page. So as of right now, for 14 days, there's been 94 total picks, and picks aren't games. They're actually the different bets that we've taken into consideration. And we've had 39 wins, 55 losses, and 0 pushes with an average win rate of 42%.
And Sam, what's a push?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
It was. I asked this because we were talking about it the other day. He's like, "What's a push?" Pretty much, for those following along, in sports betting, a lot of times you'll see the lines are with half markers, right? So, say for example, it's Red Sox, or say it's easier to explain it in basketball. But say it's Lakers Celtics. Celtics are -3.5. Means the Celtics start at a deficit of 3.5 points. Or on the inverse, you can view it as the Lakers start with a 3.5 point advantage. The reason you use half points in sports betting is so that somebody will have to win. Again, there's no half points in the 4 major sports, and not really any sports that I know of. So that half marker makes it kind of guaranteed that one team will win, even if it's like a tie in the NFL. If the spread was half for the Eagles versus the Patriots, game ends in a tie, Eagles had +half, they win the bet. A push is when the bet when the spread is on a perfect round number. So say, for example, the spread is Celtics -3, the Celtics win by 3. That would be a push because they started with 3-point, or they started on 3-point deficit. They won by 3, which means it's a net 0. So a push just means you get your money back.
Yeah. And this is what I asked Jack to do actually last night, was basically I had him write a manifesto, a good manifesto about sports betting. And I've been able to essentially take what he wrote down and turn it into a more refined version of the algorithm that I put in place. Again, I don't follow sports the way other people do. I follow UFC. That's it. And I don't even gamble then. So the only thing that I've learned from UFC and watching my friends bet is that people love parlays. That's about it. But right now there is some things that I do need to fix. I just want to see something real quick, Jack. Hold on. Reload this. Yeah, it is updating live. It's updating, but it's saying it's final. That's hilarious. I'll fix that tonight.
No, okay, cool. So as you see, guys, we're doing this on the fly.
Yeah. So the graded picks. Let's talk about that for a second. So when you grade a pick, the AI is essentially grading that on how well it did off of what your desired outcome wants, what your desired outcome should be. So I built a formula. We built a database that takes in all this information. So it's never throwing this information out. It's using it as training data. And right now, all of these that are being marked as final is actually going to add more data to the back end. That's my fault. But at midnight, it should be at midnight, if I did it correctly, this is all going to get pushed to the back end, and then it's going to run a recursive algorithm in the morning to see how well it did and why it didn't do well and why it did do well. And essentially, every step that we take is more and more data being analyzed for the AI to get smarter and smarter. And the reason that we've had like a large increase in success is, I think, because we've had an interesting, I didn't really think about this until I started like tracking this with graphs. Let me see if I can pull this up really quickly. Yeah. Do you see this? Okay, sorry about that. I get really into this stuff, and I really wanted to show you guys this because I really like it. So as of right now, our goal is to hit 60%. We want to be more accurate than a coin toss. However, one of the things I am noticing,
and I'll add to that from like a mathematical and sports betting side. The reason you want to hit 60% is because in sports betting, you pretty much need to hit around a 56% clip to beat the books. And the reason for this is even if you hit above 50% in sports betting, you're taking out a 10% VIG because that's what those sports books make money. Again, I can get into, I'll probably have a whole nother video kind of explaining how sports betting works and kind of the logic behind the app itself. As someone, again, I've been in the industry for 10 years, been betting since I was 18. And I've worked on all sides of this. So I really understand kind of the math behind it, but pretty much you have to think the books add on 10%. Which is really around like, 54, 55. So to beat that, you need 56. Our goal is to hit, in, like, as Sam said, at least 60. Really want to aim for the 60, 65 to truly prove that our algorithm is great so that we can use it and place picks. But also, too, a goal is to, have people use, our AI, get a subscription model, use the AI, and then they can, place the picks and it can work for them as well.
Yeah. So I built this. So this is the performance history. If you're looking at this right now on VS Code, which is what I'm using to build the actual engine behind it. And I just had this built just to show Jack a report that I wanted to make, which was basically the sports betting AI performance over time. So we started this not 2 weeks ago.
No, I think we actually started it last week, but I think I started talking to myself on Twitter 2 weeks ago. Okay. I don't really know.
Because our first track data was 33 point. Sorry, that's the wife. Can we pause for a second? All right. So sorry, my wife called me. Long story short, this is showing our progression over time. So our first day of real data was about halfway through the 14th. And you can see that we started off with 33.9% accuracy just off of an algorithm that had no data. We didn't have any APIs yet. And then over the past 3 days, we've gone from 33.9% to almost a little over 44%. This is an older table that I have to update. But as you can see, we're having remarkable increases in accuracy over time, which is something that I'm trying to figure out. And I think it's because we're working in an enclosed system. There are less variables. There are a lot of variables in sports betting. Don't get me wrong. I apologize if anyone's going to be in the comments. But for a coding standpoint, it's 30 teams composed of, let's say, 10 people a team. And then we also worked in the Pareto distribution, which is a whole nother thing, but we can go into that later. Basically, this theory helps the algorithm stay focused on the actual edge cases. And then Jack's ability to teach me what the edges usually are allows that to be even more enhanced over time. So right now, I'm excited to see how we do tonight. I'm going to run an algorithm in a little bit just to see how our bets are doing. And yeah.
So that was kind of like what the app is that we have right now. Again, so people might be thinking, a bet is 50-50. How is the algorithm at 33%? It's, we just started. We were just putting in guardrails, as Sam was mentioning. We're adding more and more data. As we add more and more information as the days go by, I can add more verbal logic. Sam can add that in. We're starting to pull in more data sets. The other thing, too, you probably noticed that right now it's only the NBA. Our idea was for the MVP to build out. We're going to focus strictly on the NBA. The reason for this is, one, cost. To build and pull all this API information, each API costs a certain amount of dollars. You expedite that over 4 major sports. You start adding in UFC, soccer, different things like that. It gets expensive pretty quick. The other thing is, too, to focus on one thing. We're just building an MVP. We want to hone in on one sport, and then why specifically the NBA? It has the most data points. The other thing, too, the NBA plays pretty much every single day. And we started this pretty much really a week ago building this. And the NBA season runs all the way through June. So it's not like the NFL where there's only 16 games a week. Season ends in February. This, we can constantly be updating, constantly be testing, and constantly creating pretty much a feedback loop of the information on a daily standpoint to really understand what's going on. So that's kind of why for the MVP itself, we just wanted to hone in on the NBA. So that's why in the videos you'll see, I can tell this is glitching a ton. It was really just, the MVP, or the MVP was the NBA.
Yeah.
But that's it for kind of video 2, episode 2. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Welcome to the journey. Let us know in the comments anything you'd like us to review or kind of go over what's going on in the app. This thing is really glitching right now. I can tell it's glitching. There's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, let us know in the comments anything you want us to review in the app. We're going to try to figure out these videos as we go, figure out how long we want to make them. But I think our goal is to probably post one every Wednesday. I think that's probably what our plan will be. I just kind of made it up on the fly. So we'll figure it out. But I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace.
Bye, guys.